Hi, so today I wanted to talk to you about the time the ambulance was called to my house. Now, before the video begins, I would encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel and comment down below what you want to see from me, or if you have any personal experiences with homophobia, which I'm going to be touching on. So let's begin. So, like I said, I have a fear of blood, which is also known as homophobia, and actually I'm looking at what homophobia, what it exactly is, and it's any general fear of blood. Now, I want to preface this. My issue with blood is not it's not a lifelong issue. It's not to the extreme that some people have it, but I'm gonna touch on that a little later in the video. So anyway, I'm gonna tell the story of the time the ambulance was called to my house. So I was, this was about a year and a half ago, so I was 16, and I was getting ready to go out to eat with my parents. And I was looking for my charger, and I couldn't find it, and apparently I left it in my sister's room. So I went upstairs, and I found the charger, and I walked over, pulled the charger out of the wall. It kind of, I pulled it out of the wall, and it cut my thumb open, and it started bleeding. I quickly ran to the bathroom, and obviously I knew I had this fear of blood, so I didn't want to pass out, so I got like a washcloth, and put it over my finger, and I sat down because I didn't want to if I passed out, I didn't want to fall and hit my head or something. Spoiler fucking alert. Anyway, so I thought in my fucking dumb 16-year-old brain, I'm fine, I'm 16 now, I can deal with it, I won't pass out, there's no way. So I got up, and I went downstairs, and I remember saying to my mom, I think I need stitches, and it went dark. I remember it was like my part of my brain was still on, and it was still conscious. And I can still hear my parents and my sister talking, but everything's muffled. Actually, my sister wasn't there at the time, but I heard my parents talking, it was very muffled. And it was a peculiar sensation, because out of nowhere, like I said, it went dark. And I heard, it was almost like a dream. It was kind of like, you know how in a dream you can hear and smell and sense things and everything is somewhat coherent but not quite? That's kind of like this was. It was kind of like that. And I started to see my living room. So I saw like a light, which was, my living room, my lamp in my living room. And you know how, if you ever been under anesthesia, you know how it kind of feels like you're backing out of a tunnel? Well, this was quite the opposite. I was slowly going towards the light, which was the living room, and I was going towards the living room. It was kind of like my vision was coming back, slowly but surely coming back. And then immediately, like a fucking light switch, I was conscious again. And I apparently passed out a couple of times prior to fully being conscious. Like, I would apparently kind of, like in a daze, get up and then pass out again. So this time, I was actually conscious. And I remember waking up and I was freaking out. I was pushing my parents off of me because they didn't want me to pass out again. And I remember waking up and I had this pain in my head. It kind of felt like this ache in my head, like a fucking pounding headache. And I pushed my parents off of me, and I got up and I was freaking out, like I said. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a concussion. And in that time, when I was passed out, my dad called the ambulance, and they were on their way. So I went in the other room. I was freaking out, and I was distraught over having a concussion and just the whole incident that just occurred. And I was sitting down in the other room, and then the paramedics arrived with the ambulance, and they came in, and I think my dad directed them to me, and they started asking me questions to see how conscious I was and how aware of my surroundings I was. They asked me like the date and my name and whatever. So after the paramedics talked to me, they decided to take me to the hospital. And so I went upstairs, and by the way, when I passed out, I pissed my pants, TMI, but anyway, I had to go upstairs and change, and my mom came with me, and I was talking with her, and she just wanted to make sure I didn't pass out or anything, get hurt again. And I got changed. I can't talk today. I got changed, and I went downstairs, and I went into the ambulance, and I went on the stretcher and laid down. And I remember actually my sister got home. I think she was at like a friend's house or something, and I remember crying and hugging her so tightly. And she was reassuring me that I would be okay, and everything would be okay. So I was crying, I was in a daze, I was confused and off, and I got taken to the hospital and to check me out just to see if I had any severe injuries. And I stayed in the hospital for about a couple of hours. They gave me like a leave or something to help with the pain. And I got, discharged from the hospital, and I remember walking to the car because my mom, when I got taken into the ambulance, my dad went with me, and my mom drove there with, her car, obviously. And I think I don't know if my sister went with my mom. I don't think so. But anyway, so I was walking to the car, and I was still a little bit wobbly and kind of mentally off. And my dad was just making sure I didn't fall, and I was getting like a little fucking teenage brat. I was like, oh, I'm fine, stop it, or something like that. I don't know. And then I remember actually going to, a restaurant, and I was still in the daze, and I cried a little bit. I went to the bathroom in the restaurant, and I was crying a little bit, and I was upset. Anyway, so you might be wondering what happened. How did I fall? What triggered it? Now, like I said, I had a fear of blood. So when I went downstairs and I said to my mom, I think I need stitches, I looked at my finger, and I collapsed. And I collapsed near my front door. There's this area, I'm not sure what you call it, but it's this area where you take your shoes off and shit, and it's tile. So I collapsed onto the tile, and I hit my head. And the way I fell was actually, it wasn't directly hitting my head, it was, I fell into my knees, my shoulder, and then my head. And when I went to the hospital, they wanted to check, like I said, to see if I had any injuries, severe injuries, and if I had a concussion or not, and I was evaluated, and I did not have a concussion. So I was lucky in that department, but I really wanted to, I also wanted to make this kind of like a cautionary tale for people that struggle with homophobia. Do not try to tough it out. Do not try to act like you're above this issue. I suggest, if you feel lightheaded, if you feel like you have this, if you have homophobia, sit down when you see blood, go to the hospital, or obviously depending on the injury. Do not try to act like you're above this, because you're not. You will fucking totally pass out if you've had this issue in the past. But, So, this concludes my story of the time an ambulance was called to my house. And like I said, if you guys like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below any suggestions you might have for me, for anything you want me to talk about, anything. Anything positive, negative, I don't give a fuck. So, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.